Our chalice lighting here in this Pride Month, on the day after DC Pride, the weekend before Montgomery County Pride, is by Lori Gorgas Hlaben. We light our chalice flame for those who lived their lives in closets of shame, for those who furtively went to places where no one knew their names, for the Stonewall riot and the fierce trans women who fought, for the plague that still takes far too many away, too young, too soon, for the pain, for the struggle, but also for the joy. We light our chalice flame for all those siblings under every rainbow, singing, living life out in the open with pride and utter delight for the chance to be exactly who we are.
Good morning. Good morning, and hello to everyone here in the sanctuary, out there in YouTube land, and hello to the folks up there in the balcony. Our theme for the month is delight. I'm Reverend Karen Rasmussen, and I'm delighted to be your affiliate minister. As we recognize, honor, and bring into the spotlight Pride Month, I'd like to share these words with you. You are loved. You are seen. You are safe here. You are needed. You are unique. You are enough. You are you. You are valid. You are heard. And you matter. Would you say them with me now? How about now? Because you are loved. And you are seen. You are safe here. You are needed. You are unique. You are enough. You are you. You are valid. You are heard. You matter. Thank you. Would you rise in body or spirit for our opening hymn?
Y'all, I've barely been able to talk all week, perhaps because of the smoke, so that was a special challenge to yell "Soul" as loud as I could before all of you, but also a special gift. What does it mean for a river of hope, of soul, of mind, of body, of love to flow in us and through us? What does it mean to have pride, to celebrate pride, to live with pride in this Pride Month here in these United States? For our prophetic voices today, our time for all ages, we wanted to share with you a little video, like an intro refresher, a little taste, just to get a sense of why and how and from where pride comes.
Pride. What is it? Well, the word pride means to be proud. And pride is also the name of a number of events and parades which take place throughout the year, sometimes known as Gay Pride. These events are like a party. It's a celebration. But why do we celebrate? Well, it dates back to 1969, New York City, and a place called the Stonewall Inn. The Stonewall Inn was one of the few places where the LGBT+ community could go to be themselves. Because at this time in history, people who were LGBT+ were not treated as equals. Many people treated them unfairly. At the Stonewall Inn, they were safe to be who they were. But on June 28, 1969, the police decided to raid the inn and tried to arrest the people inside. But the LGBT+ community had had enough. They decided it was unfair the way they were being treated, and that they shouldn't have to hide or be ashamed of who they were. And so, they protested, meaning they refused to be arrested. It was quite a dangerous thing to do, but still, they stood together as a group for what they believed in. The police eventually backed down, and these people were free to be themselves. This event helped pave the way for LGBT+ liberation. Liberation meaning freedom. Exactly 1 year later, a march was organised to remember what had taken place and how the LGBT+ community had stood up to inequality. Every year this parade grew and grew and has now become what we know as Pride, and in fact now takes place on many days and places throughout the world. It is a day to celebrate freedom and equality for the LGBT+ community, and everyone is invited. The best thing about this history lesson is knowing things can change. If something is unfair or wrong, we can stand up for what is right. Just remain calm and speak your truth. Because we are all equal and deserve to be treated fairly. Hey, thanks for watching Pop and Ollie Learn. Hope you had a cool time learning about the history of Pride. And don't forget, you can learn loads more by watching our other videos. You can learn about the history of the rainbow flag. And also don't forget to subscribe to our channel. That's really important. Subscribe. Cool. Thanks guys, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Subscribe. That's what the kids tell us these days. Like and subscribe. Remain calm and speak your truth. Isn't that, above all else, what we seek to learn and to know here among each other? I want to invite this morning all of our children and our religious educators to go up to the Fireside Room patio for an end-of-the-year party for our religious education program. Now, parents are welcome to join now if you want, or you could hold off and do this whole Sunday service thing and then go to the party. Either way, you're invited to go now to spend that time in celebration together. We come together on Sunday mornings as full people, complete with the complications of our lives, the joys and concerns, the laughter and the tears, the certainty and the abiding questions that we carry with us through our days. I want to invite you at any point throughout today's service to light a candle for the joys and concerns that you hold in your own heart. We've got a candle station back here and one up here as well. While I lift up just a few of the joys and concerns that we can share with our whole community. Firstly, that the memorial service for Virginia Richardson will be right here at River Road on the 17th. That's next Saturday. Virginia was a rabble-rouser and a free spirit whose voice you could hear echoing through these hallways no matter what room she was in. For over 40 years, she loved this place and made history in this place and created profound change right here among so many of you. Today, we also lift up Patrina Hollingsworth and the whole Hollingsworth family. As Patrina moves into a different phase of her cancer treatment from curative to palliative care, our hearts are with her and with the whole family as she continues to be so eminently and amazingly herself. They were out eating some Korean barbecue just this weekend, and so eating and laughing and loving her community every step of the way, even as the journey changes, we offer to her and to all of us our great and abiding love. And I want to invite you, as you're able, to take as comfortable a seat as you can in this space made sacred by our coming together for words of prayer and of meditation. Spirit of life and source of love, we gather together knowing that 90% of our journey is letting go of our illusion of control. We gather in this space knowing that perhaps the other 10% is mustering the courage to stay calm and speak truth into a world so in need of an honest word. As we move forward through Pride Month, let us do so from a centered and grounded and calm and joyful place, knowing that the truths that are ours to speak are so deeply needed in this world. And as we move into every unplanned, unexpected corner around which we cannot see, may we do so knowing that we do not move into these unknown places alone, but connected, not only to each other, but to all those who have traversed unknown and unseen places before, who have moved in the stream of life, knowing that it is ours to go with it and never to control it. May this life that we lead, may this community we share, may the pain that comes with all that we cannot know and cannot name be tempered by the abundance of these days that are given to us. May we reach out with delight this month of Pride. May we take delight in all that is fresh before our eyes. May we live, eat, breathe, see, touch, smell delight, for all around us are reasons to love this one wild and precious life we are given. May it be so, and amen. Extend our offering to Calvary Women's Services. It's my great joy to invite forward our own Heather Lang, who works for and is a chief fundraiser for Calvary Women's Services and their amazing work that they do. Eliza, her daughter, could not have been more proud to describe the profound difference that her mom's work makes in this world. Heather?
Happy Pride. Thank you. It is a pleasure to be here this morning to connect two groups that mean so much to me, the River Road community and Calvary Women's Services. So Calvary provides housing, health, education, and employment programs for women experiencing homelessness in DC. And in just a minute, we're going to share a video with you where you'll be able to hear from a couple of my awesome colleagues and also Pamela, Cynthia, and Ro, three women who have lived at Calvary and have used our programs to change their lives. So you'll learn a little bit more about what we do and how we do it. I just want to very briefly share a little bit of context about why this matters right now. So you have probably seen on the news since the beginning of the pandemic that domestic violence has continued to increase, not just in our community, but across the country. In our community, we know that from last year to this year, there was a 12% increase in the number of people experiencing homelessness in DC, and in fact, increases across every jurisdiction in Virginia, Maryland, and DC. So Calvary has responded to all of this need by continuing to grow our programs. I am thrilled to share that just earlier this year, we opened our 6th housing program, and now every night, 140 women have a safe home and access to the personalized and holistic support that they need to transform their lives. And that is possible because of the support of individuals like you and communities like this one. And so on behalf of everyone at Calvary Women's Services, thank you for the generosity that you're showing today. And I'm excited to share this video with you so that you can learn more about the impact that your gifts will have. Thank you.
There are women in this community in Washington, D.C. who experience homelessness and who experience domestic violence. What we've seen during the pandemic is an increased need among the women that we serve.
More women are coming through with more trauma. And a lot of times when we're getting those calls, the majority of the women are African American.
And Calvary's mission is to provide the housing and support services that enable those women to end their homelessness and heal from the traumas and the challenges that they've been facing. So each woman who walks in the door at Calvary has different needs. The commonality, of course, is that they're experiencing homelessness, but how they got there can look really different for each individual woman.
Our program brings everybody from different backgrounds, all walks of life, coming together in this space. And so it really gives the women a chance to connect with one another.
Calvary has always held together housing with support services. So we believe firmly and strongly that providing a place to live is the foundation, but offering the kinds of services that support women as they make fairly radical change in their lives is really what we're all about.
Well, when I first got to Calvary, I was homeless again. I mean, I've been homeless off and on for a while, but before I got there, I was so depressed. I got down on my luck and everything. I didn't feel as though I had the energy or the strength to go on. I didn't think I could go on.
That's what the case management piece does. It figures out what angle do we need to go first. So maybe you are starting out with therapy because you've just been through a lot. And how about you just talk to somebody?
And right then and there, that's what I needed, somebody to just listen to me and take what I tell them and in turn and try to explain to me how I am feeling and why I'm feeling that way. And she's good at that. She really is.
And so the therapy services we offer, the employment services, our life skills education and arts program, all of those programs are really intended to give women a chance to figure out what works for them, what services do they need, and to have that as accessible as possible.
And it's a person-centered approach in each of those interactions, and we're not the driving force, they are.
I did not know after 34 years that my husband would do this to me.
If that trauma is not addressed, it can be challenging as women are trying to move through and eventually out of Calvary.
I had to learn who I was because I didn't know who I was when I was in this marriage.
The clients are very precious to them. They took you in and they molded you. They let you know that you were cared for and cared about.
There are some women who come through the doors and they have beautiful ideas of what they want to do, never had the opportunity to even try it.
Everybody at Calvary has been wonderful to me. I'm writing a lot of poetry now, so it's helping me to know who I am. I'm learning more about myself now more than ever.
So over the last year, we have been able to expand the permanent supportive housing that we offer to women. So we're excited that about 20 women will be moving into their own apartments.
I never ever thought I would be with a home. I thought I had been committed to drugs and that was gonna be my life. And now I'm 11 years clean. It was just wonderful to be on my own. I could sit on the balcony and listen to the birds, listen to the children play. I did it.
So we find ourselves now offering almost twice as many beds as we did a few years ago. We've grown to meet the need in this city. This is our moment. We can't be afraid. The women we work with aren't afraid, and so we need to keep doing what we're doing, creating an environment where women can be who they are and can support each other and care for each other and access the services they need and feel positive relationship from staff. That's what works, and that's what we do.
What could be more important than helping ourselves and the people we care about the most know who we are and how we can serve? Surely you know the drill by now, or if you are new or feeling new here at River Road, there are many ways to give. There's a collection box in the back. We will be passing baskets. You can give on our website on the green button, Give Now. There's a drop-down menu for Calvary Women's Services, and you can text to give at 73256. As we extend our offering today, you should know that you can also share your gifts with Calvary Women's Services at any time, but especially throughout this month. And you can talk with Heather today in coffee hour. Heather, why don't you wave one more time? You can find her in coffee hour with more information about the work of Calvary Women's Services today. Let us give as we are willing and able, because the giving of it is a part of our call and commitment in this world.
You with the sad eyes, don't be discouraged. Oh, I realize it's hard to take courage in a world full of people. You can lose sight of it all, and the darkness inside you make you feel so small. But I see your true colors shining through. I see your true colors, and that's why I love you. So don't be afraid to let them show your true colors. Your true colors are beautiful, like a rainbow. Show me a smile then. Don't be unhappy. Can't remember when I last saw you laughing. If this world makes you crazy and you've taken all you can bear, you call me up, because you know I'll be there. And I'll see your true colors shining through. I see your true colors, and that's why I love you. So don't be afraid to let them show your true colors. Your true colors are beautiful, like a rainbow. I see your true colors shining through. I see your true colors, and that's why I love you. So don't be afraid to let it show your true colors. Your true colors, your true colors are shining through. I see your true colors, and that's why I love you. So don't be afraid to let it show your true colors. Your true colors are beautiful, like a rainbow.
Thank you, Melissa. You give us a gift. Somewhere in a remote hamlet in the English Midlands, a tiny village church perches on a secluded green where it has stood for 350 years. The people of the village come there, as they have come for generations, to dedicate their children, to make new friends, to celebrate their marriages, to honor the lives of those they love and have lost, and to sing their Sunday hymns of praise and of lamentation and of hope. They have done this since before such a place as Bethesda, or a state called Maryland, or a nation named the United States of America existed. And they, along with all the communities which put their faith in one another, will do this far into the stretching future. Over the course of 350 years and more of uninterrupted community, that small country church and the people who have worshiped there have been through a great deal together. Pastors preached and people prayed through outbreaks of plague, the onslaught of war, the rise and the fall of the mighty, generations of people's large and small hatreds, the complete transformation of the world outside the church's age-worn stone walls. The church was founded in 1653, the same year, as history would have it, that Oliver Cromwell became the virtual dictator of all England, and the entire first century of that little church's life was a time of revolution, counter-revolution, and civil war, when the people gathered there feared for their lives and their families and their home. And yet it stands. That little place stands. Even today, and the people come, albeit in smaller numbers they come, and they will come to that same place for generations because they know what their church is for. They know what a congregation exists to do, as evidenced in an inscription weathered by the ages that appears near the door of that little English church and has stood there carved in stone for 300 years. It reads as follows. In the year 1653, when all things sacred were throughout the nation either demolished or profaned, Sir Robert Shirley, Baronet, founded this church, whose singular praise it is to have done the best things in the worst times and hoped them in the most calamitous. A little church surrounded by the shifting tides of fortune and the tyranny of the ages, has survived these long years knowing exactly why it exists, and that reason has little, nothing to do with how good or how bad the coffee is at fellowship hour. In fact, it has very little to do with the very best programming that little church ever put on. Perhaps even very little to do with how good or how bad each Sunday's sermon was, or whether or not they all agreed on every issue of every passing day. The reason is not even something as beautifully but enduringly self-referential as the members' own spiritual growth. The reason for that little church, for a congregation of the faithful, the tie that binds us in the end, is stated in that ancient carving with words I have not been able to get out of my head the last few weeks. In 1653, when all that was sacred to them was demolished or profaned, that little church was founded with the singular purpose of doing the best things in the worst times and of hoping for the best things in the midst of calamity. On the days, and they happen, when even I wonder why we show up here. When the world outside is literally burning. When even I wonder what the point is of all of our meeting and our talking and our meeting again and our trying and our sharing and our laughing and our crying and our meeting again really is. I pray that I might remember that line, and I pray that I might be grateful for its message, thanks to the heavens and the earth and God themselves. Because yes, God is the original, non-gendered they. God themselves, for the fact that such a place exists, a place where people might hold one another accountable to the high goal of doing the best things in the worst times and hoping them in the midst of calamity. What more does a congregation like ours exist for than that? What other mission really do we have? Except to stand on the right side of history when our inheritors look back upon us from 350 years of removal and ask if we, here on this plot of forested land off of River Road, found the courage and the conviction we needed to do the best things, to hope them even when it was hard. Not to think the best things, not to intellectually embrace diversity and our acceptance, but to hope for them even when the hoping itself is an act of impassioned faith, and to do what our values, real values of equality and dignity, call upon us to do, not yesterday, not tomorrow, not even 350 years ago, but today. It is no exaggeration to say that we stand today in this nation, particularly, but also around the world, in the midst of a calamitous age for some of the most profound values we hold dear. I speak not as a partisan representative of anybody's political ambitions and not as a loyal foot soldier in anybody's manufactured culture war, but as a Unitarian Universalist who perceives again and again the truth that sets us free, trampled upon by people whose public decisions serve no purpose but to separate people I love from their right to live and exist and love as they please. This is Pride Month in America. It's the time when the rainbow banners fly and the glitter glints on the brows of those who celebrate. It is parades and it is dance parties and it is gloriousness. It is queer identity shining into the morning sun. It is a queer agenda to make everybody proud to be themselves. It is a time when we celebrate that not all boys are blue, and the glorious boundary-pushing queering of our public space reminds us that we are all, every one of us, more than the categories we are ever so prone to sift ourselves into. And yet pride comes right now in the midst of a deeply dangerous time. Attacks particularly on the rights of transgender people, rights literally to just exist, to do your thing on the most basic day-to-day level. It has been an exhausting time to be queer in America this year in the lead up to Pride and all of its rainbows. The Human Rights Campaign has, without exaggeration, said that we are currently in a state of emergency in this nation for the rights and freedoms of LGBTQ people. For queer folks among so many of us, it is honestly scarier out there than it's been in a good while. Most years, I love to make fun of the commercialization of pride. I love to poke fun at the fact that Target has this whole rainbow section starting in mid-May and talk about how we've turned it into a commercial enterprise and you can buy your pride for $29.95 at the display at the local Target. But this year, an armed gunman found his way into a Florida Target and threatened to shoot the place up because of the commercialized and commodified rainbows, because even that was too much pride for some. A mannequin wearing a rainbow t-shirt, even that utterly non-radical exercise of plain old American commercialism has become dangerous in these days. Across the country, trans and queer children grapple with questions about what it takes for them to be safe, to feel safe. Legislative victories come, including some important ones this week, but the full-on assault of a particularly hateful expression of conservatism in this country continues to target those who are already most at risk. It is calamitous, this mess of a political climate we are in. It is not safe. And yet pride comes. With its heels and its rainbows and its glory and its glitter, pride comes and invites people to delight in who we are, all the while knowing, as my colleague, Reverend Jennifer Nordstrom, has said, that delight is not a signpost for the end of the struggle. Delight is not a signpost for the end of the struggle. It is among the reasons why the struggle is worth it. It is the love that will not let us go. It is the ebullient unleashing of the values that have held us for so long and will hold us through everything that crosses our path. We are and have always been a people who celebrate each other's abiding love in all its forms, each other's diverse identities, each other's magnificent oddities. We always have been the people who celebrate each other's out-of-the-box expressions of deep devotion. We have always been that kind of congregation, the kind that opens wide the doors of pride and hopes great things and does real things in hard times. As my colleague, Reverend Victoria Safford, once wrote, people sometimes ask, is this a gay church? In her words, it is a privilege to answer, ours is absolutely, gladly, hopefully, humbly, gaily a gay church, a gay tradition where everyone is welcome, where everyone is needed, where everyone's experience is cherished as a sacred text because no one's experience of living or loving is comprehensive, because each of us holds clues to the other's needs about how to live with dignity and joy as a whole person, and none of us knows enough to be considered fully whole on our own. It is, she says, absolutely a gay church, even as ours is a queer world. If you would look around, gay church, straight church, people's church, a human congregation made holy by the hopes and fears and dreams of all who wish to come. Come in, we say. Come out. Come in. We are in this together. She goes on to write that we should not speak of tolerance with its courteous clenched teeth, its bitter resignation. We should not speak of acceptance of other people and some kind of lifestyle. We look only at the laughing wonder of human life in all of its incarnations right here in us. We can only taste in passing the breath of the spirit of life on my mouth and understand the common longing to breathe in deep, huge gulps of it. I know that on some sad and disappointing days, these words describe the church that yet shall be and not the church that is. I know. Is this a gay church? To answer is an act of creation. To answer this question and some others is a privilege, a prophetic imperative, a holy sacrament. A congregation whose singular task it is to do the best things in the worst of times, to hope them in the most calamitous, need only say what is already alive in our souls, that the right side of history has always been and will always be the side of love, and that we, those charged with living out that embracing love, are not afraid to rise and cast ourselves in that glow and share that glow out with the community, renewed by our commitment every passing year. This is why we're here, to delight in one another, to do brave things, to hope even when the doing is too hard. This is why we'll always be here. Go and do the best things. Hope the best things, be the best things. For as the time and tides of history move over us, just as they have every generation that came before, we meet head on the calamities of our age, and our voices rise with a surer message, a message strong enough to be carved in stone and hung above our amazing mid-century building. Though no, I'm not proposing an architectural change. Don't call a committee. A sign which says, here gathers a people who spoke for love, acted for love, and delighted in love. even in the most calamitous times. Shine on, everybody. Happy Pride, and amen. What we do together. I want to thank Karin in her fabulous Pride t-shirt. Of course, Heather Lang sharing the wisdom and the power of the work that she and Calvary Women's Services do. Melissa Mandel, thank you. Thank you. And of course, Cliff's here too. You know. As always, the tech crew is doing their thing. Ajay, Jeff Hollingsworth, just tireless and ever-present. I have a few invitations to get involved, a little bit more information about what's happening here at River Road that you can find out more about in the e-weekly and in some cases at places in the fellowship hall and after the service today. Firstly, if you feel yourself called and compelled to be a part of this merry and quirky band of travelers, we will have a membership book signing right over there at that little podium right after the service. Come join me and we will do that. Also, we're invited to join members of the River Road staff and Board of Trustees and just interested folks at 11:30 in room 32, which is over the bridge and down the stairs, I think. Yes. For a deep listening session on the draft changes to Article 2 of our Unitarian Universalist Association bylaws, this conversation about what the theological language interwoven in those bylaws might be as we move forward together. You can learn more about the upcoming vote at General Assembly that's happening later this month. Next week, I have a few words about summer worship. So next week is going to be a lay-led service with our Amazing Earth Ministry team, introducing UU Maine, the Mid-Atlantic Network for the Environment that was founded out of work that we did right here at our climate convocation this spring. We also have an interfaith worship service with and among our friends at Scotland AME Zion that I will be preaching at as Montgomery County honors Juneteenth by celebrating the history and the power of Scotland AME Zion. You can check the e-weekly for more details. Note to selves, 2 weeks from now, both Cliff and I will be leading sections of our association's large Sunday service at the UUA General Assembly. So We ain't gonna be here. We will be in Pittsburgh, but we'll be live streaming that service starting at 11 right here in the sanctuary. Fair warning, the service is long, amazing, but long. So if you need to leave early, go ahead. We'll have popcorn and a lovely watch party going on right here. Throughout the month of July, we'll be sharing services at 10:30. The first 2 Sundays in July, we'll have a guest preacher with us while I'm on vacation. And the last 2 Sundays, or no, not the last, the next 2 Sundays in July, we'll be sharing worship at Cedar Lane and at Fairfax Unitarian Universalists. And on the last Sunday, we will host worship for all of the congregations in the Potomac Partnership around the Beltway. So do come that Sunday. I will be back in the pulpit after some time of rest, and it'll be a humdinger. Check the e-weekly for details about how you can join and support the UU table at Montgomery County Pride on June 25th. And you can check out tables in the lounge in the fellowship hall with all of your questions and everything you're excited about with the upcoming bazaar and the spring services auction. Bid early, bid often. This indeed is how we grow our connections. We gather together in all these ways so that we might indeed be more fully equipped to share this light we have kindled with the waiting world. And so, as we leave this place, may the truths that make us free, the love that casts out fear, and the hope that never dies guide us and those we love and those we do not love forward together till the day spring breaks and the shadows flee away. Amen.